What's happening? Benton here. Total trucking insanity. I don't even know where to start with this one, but everybody's safe. Thankfully, I'm prayed up. Something told me, hey, you better go ahead and pray again there, Bubba, before you embark on this. And, uh, I already knew, well, I'm taking an LTL, less than truckload, to West Virginia, middle of fucking nowhere. And physical address came back to a house, right? Had to stop at the rest area and wait 30 minutes. And the dispatcher gave me coordinates, middle of fucking nowhere. And, I pay for this trucker GPS. Where are we going? South? Yeah, south. I pay by the month for this trucker GPS, and it every once in a while it'll give me a bad route, but it's pretty reliable overall, even going out to the boonies. And it turned out this was a confirmed route ahead of time situation, right? And now we get into the just in time freight, and we get into the compression of these activities. And talking to my dispatch, and I was telling him, I'm trying to tell him what I'm planning on doing. Because what happens is he calls the place that's expecting to receive this freight, and then they're happy to give directions, but until I go over the route and verify that it's that I can get a truck through there, I'm not going back that way. So right now it's 43 minutes. Well, it's 31 miles to the truck stop. And I already told him I'm probably done for the day. My nerves is shot. Now I do generally pretty calm under fire type of guy typically. But of course I started out about 3:30 a.m. So it's already been 8 hours, right? God forbid anybody just work an 8 hour work day. I got a little bit of heartburn going. Usually I've eaten by now. That's probably what that is. That's the stomach acid. I've got the stomach acid trained to go ahead and start, kick it up a notch to absorb all this food. Maybe I won't even eat. But yeah, fortunately, and this is where again, the waking dream surrealistic unreality comes into play, and then the spiritual protection and deliverance. And that's, I've gone through and again, I got to find a better word than pray. I don't like that PREY, even though I'm saying PRAY, but I've been putting that off. I got to find a better way to refer to this. But that's how everybody knows it. Prayer, right? Which is already, just phonetically, that's, PREY as far as something that's predatory, but maybe just call it saying grace, or, asking ye shall receive. See, there's really no handy way to put it, but I went through my, my whole spiel. Not the Lord is my shepherd, not that spiel. Of course, that's the Psalm 23. But my own custom, offering, I guess. Offer it up. Worshiper and object of worship contained within the same space, right? Because it's like, who or what are you praying to? Well, not a man in the sky, not Jesus. Right? So, okay, what then? What is the being praying to? Right? Well, the kingdom of air quotes so-called God is within me. So, but anyway, once we got into it, so I basically I'm already on a pretty small road, turned off of the big road at the Walmart, go through town, and then I'm looking at the GPS and I got to make a left turn off of the main road in town. And it's already, main road's already looking, not looking so great. And so now we're turning onto a narrow ass road. And I want to stress this is West Virginia. This is fucking hill country, hollers, the whole nine, right? We're middle of fucking nowhere. We're already like 45 miles off the interstate, and then we've been on a interstate quality road, but portions of it have stoplights, but then you take like a proper exit and then go to the Wally World, right? I guess the Jesus Talk got rid of some of them. We lost half the audience on the recent Jesus Talk. Oh no, we got a live chat. I forgot to turn the live chat off. There you go. Well, all right, Mental Pancakes. He wants a. Well, I'll say this as somebody who's maybe doesn't want to be busted out as a contributor. If you're demanding a live chat for the future, if it's live chat or I don't listen, well, that might get me to. That might get me to turn in the live chat back on. So fair enough, sir. Fair enough. Good to see you, by the way. No promises though, but thank you for listening. I appreciate it. And if that's your principles where you're like, well, if he ain't giving me a live chat, I don't listen. I respect it. So good on you, brother. I respect it. And maybe they won't get too froggy, when the cafe is closed. So, and if I look back at the route, I may just be something as simple as, well, if I hadn't turned off the main road here, then part of that is I trust my GPS a little too much, but it's earned it, right? The GPS has earned my trust, but and I did turn off of the road, but then, so I'm cutting too far into the story, but so I get down into it's basically, I know I'm committing to a thing. It's like, well, once I turn off this main road, there's no, if I can't physically get to where I'm supposed to deliver to, I'm not necessarily going to be able to get myself up out of this. Right. And so we start getting into one lane road territory. And there's a truck behind me for a while. There's a big rig behind me, but then he turns at a certain point. And remember, none of this is marked no trucks. So I think technically this is it's not a restricted route. And so that's part of me trusting the GPS is that, it goes by the length and the height of my rig and the weight of my rig. And then it goes by what, the legal designations of the road, if that makes sense. And well, there you go. Either way, sir. Either way. So it just, and this is where the prayer comes in, because again, I don't believe in coincidence. And I've talked about, I've been spiritually guided. I've been spiritually blessed, spiritually guided, and spiritually protected my whole life. Right. And so this old lady, she figures out that I got the road blocked, and she does a really good job backing up out of my way. And so just as I'm about to attempt what looks like a pretty tight right turn, but I think I'm going to make it, some dude in a pickup truck shows up, and now he's looking kind of a little irritated, but he's got to be a local. So I wait for him to come over, and And I'm like, hey, man. And he's like, hey, you'll never make that right turn. I've seen 100 of them try. And then he claims to be a truck driver. I mean, I believe him. I'm pretty sure he wasn't lying to me. He said, but I do local. And I said, all right, well, what do we do then? Okay, if I'm not making that right turn, what do I do? I surrender. And he says, well, your only option is to go up over the ridge. So now we're in West Virginia in a 53-foot dry van, combination vehicles, a combination, and we're going up over the ridge. I said, all right, man, if you're telling me I can make it. And he's basically asking me, how good are you on the tight turns? I said, I'm pretty fucking good, man. And then he's like, make sure your axles are slid. I said, no, we're good on all that. I said, if you know it can be done and you've seen it done. He said, yeah, I've guided several of them out of here. I said, all right, man. Somebody probably called his ass. Probably the moment I turned off, this is how country areas work. The minute they saw me roll in, they probably called him or somebody he knew right away, and they figured it out. Hey, go find this big rig. Otherwise, the road's going to be blocked till the heavy wrecker can yank him out. Or he'll just freak out, or he'll have half a brain and just freak out before he gets stuck. Right. And, I still think I could have made that right turn, but I have no idea. Who knows what's down the road? I don't fucking know. And once he says you'll never, okay, that's fine. I believe you, sir. I'm here. You're here. Because who's not here is the company. So, they're the ones that sent me down here. So, they're the ones going to have to deal with it at the end of the day. Not me. I'm going to the truck stop. So I said, hey, if you can get me out of here, get me to a wide spot somewhere I can stop, I'll take it. I'll just take it from there, buddy. Because he's going to try to help me figure out, he's wanting to know where am I going. I'm like, man, I don't fucking know. I can show you on my phone where they're trying to send me, but see, he's reasonable. He thinks I'm going to some plant, like an aluminum plant. It's like, I don't even bother trying to tell him. No, I done looked at this on the satellite view. They're sending me to basically somebody's shop that I've looked at it, and it looks like if I've got enough room to at least turn around. I don't even think they've got a dock. I think they're going to have to do the old manual unload. And see, they probably have been lied to and have been told I've got a lift gate and all this, and some version of a LTL, there's LTL carriers and they do pick and drop, and these guys have 15 stops a day. They head out with a 53-foot trailer and go to fucking people's neighborhoods and do all kind of crazy shit. And now I'm out here for $257 a day on a day rate doing crazy shit. But anyway, so I'm like, hey man, just get me the fuck up out of here. And I said, I'm good. I'm pretty good on the tight maneuvers, so I'm not worried about it. If you know it's doable, let's do it. And it got pretty hairy, man. I ain't gonna lie. At a certain point, I had to lock the axles a couple of times, and it's sort of a situation where it's like, if I know if I stop, the worst thing I can do is just keep fucking going, but watch everything like a hawk, and get her done. And at a certain point, I lock the axles on the tractor, and because I'm watching where I think my trailer is going to be, and it's like, well, them trailer tandems are about to go off that road, and remember it's snowed out. The road ain't snowed out, but everything on the side of the road's. I don't know what's underneath that snow. Now he does because I don't fucking know. Once one tire goes onto the snow, I have no idea what it's going on to. No clue. Right. So make sure I'm going to the right place here. Make sure. Hang on. Let's double check. Now I'm getting paranoid. Okay, we are. And because I know the only thing that can keep, and this turns it's a rollover. If my tires go off the side on the trailer and it's worst case scenario, the whole fucking rig's going. So my only chance is the moment I know them tires are going off the road, all I can do is romp it, go full throttle, and the tractor either yanks that bitch out of the ditch. Is it even a ditch? I don't fucking know. It's a goddamn holler. Whatever's underneath there, the tractor either yanks that bitch out or it don't. That's the only two things that can happen. And we went through a couple of them situations. I already been in one of them in near Boston. They had me delivered to this school that was being, they built a new gym or whatever, and I delivered a bunch of equipment for the gym, the new gymnasium, and some private school. And, you know, the local union workers, the guy and the project manager for the union, you know, union job, he actually drove me around. He said, well, there's a road that circles around. And I said, yeah, I'll walk part of it, but, you know, I didn't want to walk the whole thing right now. But he said, shit, I'll drive you around there. And I like Massachusetts, about the only place I've been where the Boston area. I've liked a lot of the people I've ran into, but so he drives me around, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can make this. And same thing, I got into a situation. I'm looking at the trailer. It's like, I already got the fucking axles are locked on the tractor. It's like, well, this tractor either pulls this bitch out or we're stuck. I mean, one of the two. Now, that wasn't a rollover, thank God. That wasn't a rollover. This was a rollover. It's like, well, if it don't yank it out. Now, I never got to the having to stomp the accelerator and just see what happens phase. And that's what I mean about I'm pretty cool. My heart rate don't go up. My blood pressure doesn't increase. It's just, well, this is about to be interesting. And so when I'm getting followed around the goddamn Walmart, see, women can detect this sort of thing in a man. It's not, oh, Benton's a badass. Look, if it's a man, it's got its own version of this. I'm not special. It's just that there's less and less and less and less men. Right? There's just less of them. Over time, men are becoming actually extinct. Men as a status is going away. Right? And because remember, this is a man either just happened to show up or somebody called his ass. He showed up. He shows his root. I'm rootin' tootin' local guy. I'm in charge. Okay, buddy. I see you. I see your body language. He comes over. I'm filming him just because I want to show this to the company. Hey, this is what I'm dealing with. And he's just like, hey, you'll never make that right turn. And this is man to man. I'm like, all right, how do I get the fuck out of here? You know, he tries to give me the directions. I'm like, listen, buddy, I don't really know. And I'm just, without saying it this way, I'm like, I don't know or care where the fuck I am. Get me to something resembling civilization, and I'll take it from here, you know. All right, fair enough. And we teamwork it, and he helps me and gets me the fuck out of there for the betterment of the entire community. Because he said, sometimes I try to help people and they don't speak English. Because these brokers pull all the tricks in the world to get people to accept these loads. And then sometimes it's somebody don't speak English ends up out there, and it's just they try to help them. And at a certain point, it's just like the local tries, and it's just like, all right, man, well, best of luck to you. I'll be seeing you. And they just are like, God willing and the creek don't rise type shit, right? And, at least we can talk to each other and suss it out. And so if the government is cracking down on all this English language proficiency, because remember, Arkansas, red state, well, Arkansas hasn't been enforcing English language proficiency, which is Trump didn't come into office and then decide to change anything. That's already been the case. You're supposed to have by law motherfucking English proficiency at a minimum level. That's been on the books for a long ass time. And see, that's what, and that's what ultimately, when a woman does find a particular man she's attracted to, that's it. That's the thing. See, this is somebody he can actually do some man shit. That's really all we're talking about. That's man shit, right? That's another man and me cooperating and solve the goddamn problem again for the betterment of me, the community. It's in everybody's best interest. He had to stop. He had to turn multiple people around. Right? It's a one lane, man. And so a couple of different times, and then finally he's like stops his truck and gets out his pickup. He's like, "All right, this is the worst turn to the whole thing." And I said, "Well, I'm not. I'm looking at it. It don't look that bad to me." And he said, "Yeah." And again, I can't see what's under the snow. He said that's about a 6 foot drop off. So it's just as long as you keep your tandems out of that drop off, again, it's another. We're rolling into the holler, Jack. Or we're rolling up onto the guardrail, one of the two, and there ain't really a guardrail. And if once she starts heading that way, the fucking tractor's either gonna pull her out or it's not. I mean, it's again, here we go, YOLO. And I took all the space I could take, and I'm looking, and again, I'm putting my tractor off the road into the snow. What's under there? I don't fucking know. I've locked the axles, and if I start losing traction, all I can do is floor this bitch, and we either get stuck or we don't. So we don't get stuck off to the left, and then now we turn right as hard as we fucking can, and now it's like, well, I can kind of see my trailer tandems because we're basically jackknifed at this point. So it's like, yeah, I can kind of see my tandem, sort of. It's like, yeah, I probably should have cleaned them mirrors off a little better this morning, but too late now. And the trailer, it fucking tipped, man. It went off the road, off the surface into whatever's under that snow. And when I saw that happen, I fucking, I gave it as much fuel as I could as I was coming up out of that turn with the tractor, and everything righted itself. And then he'd already told me, hey, once we get around that, and he's still basically trying to help me land somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, I went past that Walmart. So, once I get up to the big road, I'll take it from there. And he's like, all right, well, and I thanked him again and, shook his hand and all that. So now I'm headed 10 more minutes to the pilot where I'm parking, and most likely we'll be done for the day. And the rest of the day will be spent what level of directions my dispatcher can come up with. And then he said he's going to drive the route on Google Maps with the street view and everything. And he's going to determine if a truck can go through there. And I said, that's all fine and good. I just want you to understand, I'm going to do my same version of that. Because until I can determine that I can get a truck in and out of there, I'm not attempting it again. So just so y'all know what the deal. And then I told him this whole thing about I delivered one time in downtown Chicago to a Container Store. And I personally spent 2 hours on Google Maps, Google Street View, and I, dropped a bunch of waypoints, and I made sure I was 100% certain I wasn't going to accidentally make a wrong turn, go under a low bridge, or, go the wrong way. And then they even, on that load, it said you can't get there more than 30 minutes early because there's not even room in the parking lot for you. And meanwhile, they don't have a dock. This was a back down an alley, back into an alley. And then basically I had to wait for the shoppers. I had to wait for enough shoppers to get the fuck out of the way to even be able to back into the alley, right? And so I know that I got to get to the area early. So I scouted out a place where I had to make this crazy fucking turn. Oh, now we're on so-called black ice. That's just fun. Hang on. Hat on. We're slip sliding away. And contrary to what I've said in the past, I did ever so slightly apply the brakes, but only after I verified I had the whole road to myself. I took the whole road. But yeah, that was some, couldn't see it. That was some, we can't see the ice. That was fun. Oh, we're hitting some more of it. Ben's having a good old time today. Oh, I'm having a fun day. The chat's greeting me. Greetings to the, oh, I'm having a fun day. Total trucking insanity indeed. But if I make it this last 9 miles of this truck stop, I'll be doing real good. So just so they understand what I'm up against now, my favorite part of all this is I tried to say no to this. Uh, and in fact, I said no to the dispatch level. I said hard no to the dispatch level, but I knew that the owner was going to be calling me to talk me into it. And, and I told him, I said, hey, man, I just want you to know anytime I've given the hard no to the dispatch and then got talked into something by a higher level, it's never not been a disaster. I just want you to know that. And, but yeah, I mean, obviously I'm going to let you talk. I said, obviously I'm going to let you talk me into it. But, black ice. And I ain't seen a rig in a minute. I ain't seen no. So I kind of wish I hadn't come this way because I didn't come down this way. Yeah, we're sliding, man. Sliding again. Every time I get on the power, we start sliding. If I'm turning, anyway. So yeah, that was fun. And the locals are long suffering, man. I got to say that they knew what to do. They knew how to get the fuck out of the way. And you can tell they're just used to fucking big rigs showing up out of nowhere and having to get, hopefully get led out of there. The ones who can understand what to do anyway. And part of this is sort of the country folk, because my thing is, if it was a foreigner, I just wouldn't let them try. If it was me and I was there trying to help them, I would just say, hey, man, we're not going to let you try to take that. If I knew it was completely impossible, because I still would have tried it and I might have got halfway through it. If it's truly impossible, I got halfway through it and backed out. But, which is basically what he said was going to happen. But, motherfucker, dude, we're sliding again. This is where the cars make a bad situation because I don't have no way to convey to them. This is not the time to be snuggling. You might want to get the fuck away from me. But I think the sun's melting some of this ice, but it's freezing again. There's just enough moisture, is what it is, but you can't see it really. But so-called black ice, I suppose. But it's not everywhere. It's patchy. But anyway, and see, this is supposed to be my job. My job is not supposed to be just in time, hurry, haul ass at top fucking speed everywhere, to make a bunch of deliveries squeezed into a narrow time frame. It's not supposed to be my job. Anyway, it's crazy, man. The whole thing's nuts. But yeah, shout out to the locals. And I will say this, man. I figured out kind of early on in my life that West Virginia's, because growing up in Arkansas, there's a lot of Arkansas jokes, barefoot and all this. But I heard pretty much all the same jokes, but about West Virginia at a certain point. So I've always kind of felt even though they're very different in a lot of ways. It's very different states. I've sort of felt the kinship, but and see, I want to point out a lot of what we've assumed about what a red state would do. No, they don't. If it's Biden's poopy diaper and it's the federal government and it's Ronald Reagan neoconservatism and all of this, and once a word comes down to the state governments, hey, don't enforce this English language proficiency, they just don't enforce it. And I saw in Arkansas, they had the day one of the now we're going to enforce it. And the guy was, in the chicken coop, and he found him one that he was pretty sure didn't speak English. And he got on his phone to called his woman supervisor, right? And he said, well, I'm just verifying, because he said, I know it's day one of us enforcing this, but this first one of these I'm doing, and I just want to, double check that I know how to do this, right? And so if that proved to me that it's just, they've been pulling over and inspecting drivers that don't speak English, and they've been putting them out of service for stuff like brakes or whatever. Well, here's what put out of service is. They write it all up in the computer. They fail the inspection, and they verbally say, hey, you can't leave here until the situation is corrected. So if it's mechanical, a mechanic has to show up, fix the problem. They have to sign off on the law. They have to sign off and say, we verify this thing's safe to drive. Then I have to verify on my DVIR, they call it, Daily Vehicle Inspection Report. And I certify that the equipment's safe to drive. Right. Oh, yeah, we sliding again, Jack. Yeah, I'm going to wish I hadn't came this way. I had no idea the roads were bad. But this ain't nothing we can't handle. If I'd known this, I would have just, and see, I learned, the more I drive a truck, the more I learn is that in winter conditions, changing conditions, the move would have just make sure to go back the way I came. But, it's already been several hours, so it could be the exact same type of conditions where I came from. It doesn't really matter, right? In a way. Because it might just be the same shit. But yeah, see, it's iciest where it's sunniest, I'm realizing. Because every time, all the spots where I start sliding it's the sunniest. But see, now we got local super trucker. He just passed me going like 60. So I don't know what's going on, but I keep losing traction. Maybe he might not be worried about it too much. Or he's just that good. He might just be that used to it. And he trusts his skills. I don't know. I'm not sliding when I start braking. I'm wondering, because I noticed when that guy was leading me on the 1-lane road, and at a certain point, I could tell that my some of my wheels on the tandem, on the trailer tandem's locked up. I had at least one wheel locked up. So I don't know. Maybe it's that. Something's going wrong. So I'm not sliding at all when I hit the brakes. It's only when I start turning, hit curves and stuff. Oh, I know this pilot. Yeah, I know exactly where we're at. I've stayed at this one several times. This was kind of a clusterfuck. So we're getting there at the proper time, certainly. I wonder if they've cleared the lot. Looks like it's clear, relatively clear. Now, y'all know me, I'm parking based on, am I going to get stuck or not? Give me a minute while I figure out where I want to go. I'll go ahead and get off the clock.
But yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. So I don't want to steal DBDR's sign off. So bye.